Okay. All right. So, welcome into Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as. No big deal. Here we are on day 133 of my one video each day, 365 day raising money campaign for life lost, stolen, raped, tortured, um, to extreme harassment beginning the fourth Monday of January 2011. And as I always say, I've been called everything under the sun: rat, pig, horse, cow, dog, rhino, lizard, squirrel. In a good way, don't care. So, with that said, I'll start off with my usual shtick. The fourth Monday of January 2011, I was made to believe I'd been murdered in my apartment. It was a series of orchestrated events that made me feel this way. I believed it would be the last night of my life. I actually 100% believed it. I was convulsing, trembling so badly I couldn't even speak. My muscles went completely limp. I finally called my sister. She convinced me to call the police. I was afraid that my call wasn't even going to the police. I thought it was being rerouted by the CIA. That's how crazy that got. I actually did believe someone was coming up through the basement to kill me because of all kinds of things that were in place. And conveniently, the person who lived behind me, she and her husband, missing in action, they were in the Middle East visiting his family. She was the daughter of a policeman who used to work at the precinct on South Street next to Whole Foods, a little tiny hole in the wall precinct. Her name was Deb, and I forget her husband's name was like Abdel or something like that. But conveniently, they were away. Wink, wink, wink. And also, conveniently, when I moved into this place, which happened to be a block south of Sharon's bank, and my name is Sharon. Also, I grew up with a credit card bank with their main building named the Cole House, and my last name is Cole. And now, these days, back then, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, how about that, the Cole House? These days, I wonder if it's a thing. So anyway, forget what I was going to say after that, but the people behind me were not there conveniently. And there were signs on the door, and I think they were put there on purpose, but on the inside of the door, it would be taped or magnetized saying, be careful out there. They had a lot of robberies in the area. I think they did it as a scare tactic, like someone put signs up inside of that row home. Not that there aren't robberies, but in that section, technically, it wasn't that bad in that particular section. This is the Graduate Hospital area. It could happen, but probably not. And Philly is sort of like, there's a high police presence in general. And maybe one or two things will happen up here where there's lots of riffraff and you can easily sort of like get away. Down there, I think they put the signs up to add to a level of fear in advance of me being scared out of my apartment. So anyway, I was scared, called my sister, then called police, then called my mom the next day, and my mom's phone line, she was living with her sister at the time. We're sorry, the phone number you're trying to reach has been disconnected, and the landline apparently was severed from the back of the house. So that added to the horror as well. And if that weren't enough, the games commenced, and people who I met leading up to this evening were less than supportive. They all were like seemingly friends. I'd gone to concerts with a couple people, gone shopping over in New Jersey with some people. Someone even showed interest in me and wanted to hang out in New Hope and from the LGBT community. And she was like, oh, I like you. I've been hanging out. She had a girlfriend and she seemed to show more interest in me. And I feel set up by them, to be honest. Kind of low, don't you think? They're kind of very low class. But anyway, especially to do something like this, don't you think? What if their families are from rings, actual criminal rings? They could be. And they're hiding behind certain positions and stuff like that might not show that they're from criminal rings. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to make it a short one tonight, an example of how gang stalking could work, aside from the constant like skits and scenarios, people acting things out on the street, theater-wise, but not in a cute, fun way. Like sometimes people will do things because they're practicing their craft of theater, and it could be like New Yorkish. No, here they actually create skits to intimidate and scare you on purpose. Isn't that great, Philadelphia? Aren't you proud of yourselves? And it was as if a whole bunch of people decided to play God with Sharon's life, and I'm waiting for my money and I will get it. So, anyway, another example of gang stalking would be something like this, because things can happen mysteriously and you're wondering how mysterious it is or how is it done. So, this is kind of a simple one. So, say I had this happen recently. I had a gift card to Starbucks, and I decided this time I had a lot of extra time to get to a dog walk. And I was like, you know what? I'll stop at the Starbucks. And I went all the way over to the one in the neighborhood on Walnut Street. It used to be on the northeast corner of 12th and Walnut, but has since moved over to the southeast corner of 12th and Walnut. There used to be a cozy restaurant there, COSI. Anyway, and the only cozy restaurant left or remaining, or they opened up a really small place over by Jefferson Hospital, closer to Mom's Organic Market. But anyway, I show up and there's an employee there who's been there forever. Her name starts with a D. I won't say her name, but she's been there since, we are talking 2004, 5, 6. She's been working in this, technically the same store, meaning she was there when they were on the northeast corner. Now she's there on the southeast corner. And I was like, oh my God, it's been so many years, hopefully it seems like she's more in a managerial position, which thank God, because all these years having to put up with this work. But anyway, so I was happy to see her. She's a very likable person, and so forth and so on. Ordered a peppermint, an almond milk, no whip decaf peppermint mocha, which is my usual. By the way, if you get an alternate milk, the calories on those drinks they're reduced by almost 2/3. If you get regular milk, the amount of calories is ridiculous. If you get almond milk, soy milk, or coconut milk, or they have oat milk now, but I think that's I don't know if that's way more expensive. I don't know if it's even more expensive at Starbucks, but calories come down significantly. So anyway, showed up there, had a big old conversation with her. And on my way, and often when I'm in the neighborhood, usually I'll run into people and they'll be like, and that'll seem like gang stalking because it's like, it's too perfect and like too orchestrated. So luckily that didn't happen today. Although I forgot. There's one thing that happened that's sort of in the sci-fi realm because yellow has been coming up recently. Technically, yellow could be used as a pejorative term from like the 50s to indicate like Asians or something. So even in my day, they didn't really use that word, but it came up as like a thing. The word yellow can be referred, I guess, because if you go by skin color, are you white, black, or I guess you would say yellow. I see it as a pejorative term, but not too long ago, I saw a sign over here on 19th, or I'm sorry, 21st and Chestnut, and there's a parking area there and like a mural, and it says "Hello, Yellow," and it's a Apple ad for yellow iPhones or something like that. But it came across as potentially as a message. So, and of course, everybody's worried about certain countries or whatever being able to hack or whatever kind of warfare. And immediately I was like, what's going on with Hello Yellow? Well, as I approached Starbucks over in the neighborhood at 12th and Walnut, southeast corner, someone was all dressed in all yellow. Even her hair was yellow. And I was like, what's up with the yellow? I walked right in and an Asian guy came out. And at first I didn't think of it. He was on his way walking out. At first I didn't think of it, but then it like struck me like, oh, there's the yellow reference. Like it could be an orchestrated-ish, overly timed situation. And I could see that guy as potentially being gang stalked by whoever was walking around. I just happened to notice it as a thing like, oh. So I don't know if it was a thing, but those things come up. So anyway, got my drink and started to walk back towards my dog walk. And I was sort of like, I felt a nudge to go ahead and throw away my empty cup at the northeast corner of 16th and Spruce and in the recycling bin. As I started to throw the cup in, I realized there was a Sephora bag or similar right at the brim, which looks like black and white stripes or like jail stripes. I see Sephora because everything's black and white. I see black and white stripes as a jail reference. And what the message that could come through, and my brain doesn't think this, I know it's sent. In fact, I'll bring up another instance. I put it in, and I'm like, oh God, someone made sure there was a bag in there. Like somehow someone, it's hard to explain. It could happen. I know it seems unlikely to people who are like, oh, give me a break. It could happen. If someone knows you're walking back, they already know your schedule because you walk the same dogs all the time. They could make sure, if they know you have a Starbucks cup, they could hurry up and plan to make sure to have a black and white bag because they know you would probably throw it. They could even take their chances and throw the cup in there, and they would know it has a reference for me. Like, I've been conditioned to see black and white stripes as a jail reference. And then it feeds the planted anchor conditioning of believing that people are trying to conspire to get you in trouble. And if by the time you've been tortured like I was, you could be easily provoked. Or not easily. A lot of people work hard at trying to provoke someone or get under their skin. Subjugate. Keep playing the game. Have creepers walking around all the corners, doing stupid things on purpose to sort of make you feel creeped out and so forth and so on. Even people who come right up into your own personal space while you're walking down the street. So all of those play into creating like a fear. It's a form of fear mongering, and that is part of gang stalking. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, I almost fished my cup back out to throw it somewhere else, but I didn't want to put my hand in there. It was already too far into it. And I was like, I'll just leave it, and I need to erase it from my brain. But really quick, I'll talk about something that happened years ago, back in 2011 or 12. I kept reaching out to people because I was so desperate because of what happened. And I didn't want to be alone. It was a whole thing of like, I was so amped up and scared. I was running around like a chicken with a head cut off for years. And everyone who participated and participates, they know it. But and they know they're wrong. There are a lot of wealthy people involved here, and they know they're wrong. So they might be afraid to maybe donate on my GoFundMe page or something because they don't want to be known that they knew me. But anyway, a long time ago, I reached out to any person that would be receptive, even some of my clients. And there was a client, a man and woman couple, and each of them met up with me separately because I kept trying to get out of dog walking also. And I was like, is there a connection? Maybe they know of a place where I can look into for work or, and technically, not to sound like a snob, but I was using dog walking as a temporary fix to bad experiences I already had in Philadelphia. And I have certain types of experience, and I might even actually be more highly qualified than some of my clients from the past. But I was reaching out to them because they had money, and I was like, well, maybe they have better connections and I can find work through them. But anyway, I also wanted them to know that I experienced something really strange, but they already knew that, didn't they? So I met up with the husband of this one older couple, technically, and he's like, I'll meet you for coffee at a place called 12 Cafe, or it might have been Brouhaha back then. This is in the neighborhood. It used to be next to the 12th Street Gym, and it was Millennium Coffee, then it was Brouhaha, then it was 12 Cafe, and now it's like not je t'aime, but it's j'aime, a French word for I love or something like that. So anyway, met there, and he had a way of being able to motivate people. So in a way, it was helpful at first. He made a whole science, and it was part of his business to be like an inspirational coach per se. So he drew out a whole map. He had a whole thing of like how to get excited about this. Maybe you can do that. In a way, it's empty because people who are motivational speakers, it's like a shot in the arm. It's sort of like going to church. You go, you listen to these people, but to actually put into action or to actually have people respond, it's kind of snake oilsmanship. Like it's snake oil salesmanship. It's in that realm of, it doesn't really work. It might help get your brain in a better place for a couple hours, maybe if you're lucky. But if you reach out for certain dreams or goals, it doesn't mean that those jobs will come or the house will come. You know what I mean? So, and people pay a lot of money for inspirational coaches and stuff like that. But anyway, So we wrapped it up and I felt like I was in a really good place. And this happens all the time. They bring you up and then let you down. So I was like, okay, I feel good. I feel motivated. At least it's a better mind space to be in. So as we exited, and it's like slow motion movie, like as I threw my cup into the trash receptacle or the recycling, whatever, immediately what came through to my brain, and it could be a controlled environment, like rigged to transfer thoughts. But as I put the cup in, immediately the thought came through, and I would never think this on my own. Like, perfect. Now we'll have our agents go in, take the cup, get the DNA sample, create evidence, fabricate evidence to make her look like, and fill in the blank. So some would say, oh, those are irrational thoughts, or what are you, paranoid, schizophrenic, or nope, they can do it. I was pumped up, I was all excited, and you can tell it's coming in. It's like a slow motion movie. There goes the cup into the trash can, and great. As she walks out, we'll grab the cup really quick, take it to the lab, get her saliva, and who knows what the fear mongering would be that they would fabricate evidence, or they want you to be afraid. That actually happened. That is full on gang stalking. The term gang stalking is kind of like, it's not the best term, but it's part of the gang stalking world, is to be stalked by these people who have the capability to do something that most people don't realize occurs. It's more than having a conversation and trying to make someone believe something or buy something. It's more than that. This is invisible, and that location, which is now Gem, and they have another Gem over here, close to where I walk dogs now. So they keep following me around. But this orchestrated situation, I won't go in there. But and people will sit out there while I'm walking a dog, trying to avoid them, because I have to kind of go around that place, because one of the dogs I walk can wind up like humping my leg or jumping on their table wanting to eat their pastries. So, because they have outdoor tables. But anyway, point being, that's what they did a lot of. It's like transferring thoughts or making you believe something, and I have no idea how it's done. Technically, it would seem like CIA sophisticated. And here I was amped up and excited. Like he got me in a better mind space at least. And to have this come through, now I have to worry. And I spent all those years trying to get past worrying. Like, are they gonna, I went to therapy. I'm thinking I went to therapy to sort of unload and sort of get rid of people from the past who violated my person and my body and my space. And here I am, made to believe that people will make me look like the perpetrator that I was running away from. Can you imagine being an actual victim of some very serious stuff, and then being made to believe that, oh, you want to try to get away from being, away from certain people? It's as if they feel so threatened that they would try to turn the most innocent among us into a perpetrator. That's how bad it is. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. Day 133 of my one video each day, 365 days, trying to raise money so that I can live the rest of my life without being tortured to death, and in a quiet community outside of Philadelphia, probably not even in this area at all. And quietly have a life somewhere. It's owed to me, and they know it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.